B96, what's going on? The Blue Cross Blue Shield performance stage. This is a little different for you, right in front of everybody? No, not at all, right? One of the dopest DJs ever, Avicii, hanging out in Chicago. What's up, man? Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Welcome to Chicago, bro.
Thanks.
It's a long way from Sweden, right?
It is. It's just as cold though.
Just as cold, really. So I've actually never been to Sweden. It gets cold in Sweden. Does it snow?
It does, yeah.
It does. Okay.
Now it kind of rains. It's similar to here.
Okay.
It's like it's a more cold here.
Okay.
It's more. You feel like you're gonna die more here.
That's how we feel every day.
Heavier,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not going to be part of this interview because I take it then you're Swedish.
Yes.
And you're 50%
I'm half
Swedish.
Swedish, right? I am.
I'm Polish, so I'm gonna go sit over here.
We're gonna just do a Swedish thing over here.
The Polak's gonna be down over here if you need me, okay?
So man, well, we're excited to have you here in Chicago, bro. A couple questions for you. First of all, "Wake Me Up," one of the biggest songs probably ever. Okay, but we can look back and say that when you first put it out, so different for the dance music, for EDM music. Were you nervous putting out a record like that because it was so different than what you did before?
I wasn't really nervous,
Okay.
but I wasn't thinking either at the time.
Right.
I didn't know how much of a almost like a stigma country had within electronic music. And I mean, growing up in Sweden, my view of country was so completely different that
Right.
so I didn't see that. It was like a real curveball. I didn't see coming at all.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Then now I understand it.
Now you
Now
get it,
I
yeah.
can relate to it.
Now
But
you
then
get
at
it.
the time it was
Right.
really hard.
But it's almost good you didn't know that because people around you may have been like, no, don't do that. I mean,
But they were, yeah.
Right.
But I didn't understand it.
You
So I
didn't
was like,
get
yeah,
it.
well, what's the
Well,
deal?
we're so glad they didn't talk you out of it because, again, that's one of the biggest records, like, seriously, ever. And, I mean, it's because of the fact that you put a country kind of vibe to a dance song. I mean, and boom, here you go. Magic was made.
when you say biggest song ever, I mean, it only had 860 million views on YouTube, so
Right.
I don't think it's the biggest.
I mean, one of them.
I'm just kidding. Is that insane to you that 860 million people across the world logged on the internet to listen to your song?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things that I'm still I can't get used to that. You know,
And that's not you just refreshing it.
it is.
860
It
million
is.
times.
I
It
still
is-
can't
is
get
it-
used to it though.
At least 2 million was Avicii's going refresh.
I actually used to do that right in the beginning, before like Facebook and MySpace. And
I
all
would
of that.
too, man. I'm not gonna lie, I would too.
MySpace plays.
You go on your profile over and over and over again, right?
It worked too.
Yeah,
That was
right.
the great
Yeah,
thing. You could
yeah.
like download like a macro that clicked for
So
you.
are you saying you're successful because you did all that yourself? Like you just get all
It's
the views
just
are
because it's
right,
just
right.
because of that macro
Man,
that clicked
I'm
he's
on
writing
my
this
face.
down. We
Like,
gotta do
Yes,
this. We gotta do
man.
this. And then like levels. I mean, an older song, still a banger. I mean, they play it in stadiums throughout the
That was
country.
a huge stadium record, right?
Like the same thing, like everywhere you go. I mean, we still play it on B96 here. Is that insane to you? Again, like the question just asked earlier, in the studio, when you're doing levels, are you like, oh yeah, we got a winner right here?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you kind of know what. After a while, you know what people are gonna like, but then you never know you guys must know this too. The longevity of a track is so different, and you can't. It's almost for me. It's been really impossible to tell which ones, because some of the tracks I've loved the most have gone the worst, and some of the tracks I haven't liked nearly as much have gone the best. So.
Right. You have also a couple different hats. So we're in a Florida Marlins hat right now, but different hats. No, it's all good. But Avicii is one hat you wear. All right. Tim Berg is another hat you wear. One of my favorite songs you ever did was "Seek Bromance," under Tim Berg. What determines if you're going to put out a Tim Berg record or an Avicii record? How do you figure out this song is for this song is for that?
Honestly, it's been a little bit political.
Okay.
It's been very much kind of like figuring out which songs, because I've done so much music, right? And it's weird almost releasing some songs under Avicii because they just don't sound like Avicii.
Right.
So that I kind of needed more names.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
So which bank account has more money, the Avicii bank account or the Tim Berg bank account?
I think they're all the same. I think it all goes back to him regardless of what name it is.
But let's talk about this for a second. Peanut butter and jelly goes together amazing, right? What are some other things that go together really well? I can't even think off the top of my head right now.
Hamburger and cheese.
Hamburger and cheese, if you like cheeseburgers. But then you take Avicii and you take Zac Brown, which
Yeah.
some people right off the bat may, I don't know about that. But you make it work once again on your new song, Broken Arrows.
Thank you.
Like, how did that? How did
Sorry,
that?
I don't know what to say. Yeah, thank you.
All right, right.
But I mean, were you like?
That's it. Thanks.
We're out of here. Were you just chilling, and then one day you're like, did you like Zach Brown, his band, or were you just like you like his vocals, or was it? How did it all come together to have Zach Brown?
I liked his vocals a lot. So I wanted to work with him, and I honestly in the beginning when me and my manager started talking about it, I just wanted to find a song that would work with his voice. But I kind of knew it would too. He has such a great voice, and especially country and house. I mean, I've done that before, and he has one of the best country voices I think of today. And so it's worked out great.
And I don't know if you. I mean, this is me asking you, but his new album, there's a couple songs on there that are very, very dancey. I mean, have you influenced him? I think that for his own album, to have a couple dance EDM bangers on his country album. I'm sure that influence came from you as well.
I have no idea.
Have you heard those songs though?
I have, yeah, of course.
I mean, they're very, very dancey, right? So I mean, like, it's one of those things where you took "Wake Me Up." You said it was kind of you didn't know any better between country and EDM, but then like you knew better now with Zach Brown and Avicii, and I mean, the formula was there to work. And I agree with you. Zach Brown is one of the best voices, period, point blank. So that song is very, very dope. We have the video actually too, don't we?
Yeah, but before we watch the video right here, Broken Arrows, like, explain it to us. Was this a story that intrigued you about the high jump in the Olympics? With the man where he then all of a sudden took gold because his daughter showed him a different technique to jump over the high jump?
Yeah, it was. But when I got the kind of what do you call it, the treatment the first time, I just saw it as. I mean, I think personally that before recently I had such a bad track record with videos for me. I mean,
Really?
in the beginning of my career. So now I'm just really kind of trying to really search for the good treatments. But almost all the treatments are great in the beginning, so you never know how it's gonna end up in the at the end. But no, this one you could kind of tell right when you got the treatment it was a good treatment.
Yeah, it's definitely good. You want to introduce it right now so we can all check it out?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is Broken Arrows with me and Zach Brown Band.
Let's check it out right now. Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, that was a great video, man. Really good.
Yeah, it turned out really well.
It did, man.
I feel like the song is amazing. We already talked about that, but I feel like when people watch the video, I think they appreciate the song and the meaning of everything that's going on in the video as well.
Yeah, I mean, it has that kind of really that American dream-ish type thing in it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, it turned out the way I wanted it to.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And let's talk about American. You brought it up. So a couple days ago, you were DJing at the big game, the Super Bowl. You coming from Sweden, do you even follow football? Did you even know like how big the Super Bowl is here in America?
I know how big it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't follow football at all, but it was the Rolling Stones party, so it was a really cool thing to do with them, and it was the first show too in like 4 months because I've taken some time off. So it was a really good kind of intimate first show.
Very cool.
What do you like? Because you are a producer and you're also a DJ. I mean, you kind of you wear many hats. Do you have a preference? 'Cause I mean, in this, I know certain people love being in the studio, creating new music, whatever. Certain people love the live show in front of thousands and thousands of people, festivals and stuff. What do you prefer, or do you have a preference or anything, or you just love them both?
It's different. There's two different things. But I mean, I've always come from production first.
Yeah.
So I think it's always going to be where the majority of my kind of passion lies.
You're a studio rat. You're a studio rat.
Yeah,
right.
for sure, always.
Yeah, for sure.
Now hear me out on this. Has DJing in your mind gotten a lot easier nowadays? Because I remember back in the day when you used to have a gig, you would call up like 8 of your buddies. They ought to help you carry a crate of records. Now when you roll up to a gig, all you need is a USB. Where do you think DJing nowadays is going to be going in the near future?
I mean, it's becoming easier and easier technically to DJ, and I think that's going to continue even further, especially with all new playlist programs and stuff like that. I think people are going to get more involved with that. I think it's going to be more about just track listing. I think it is about track listing, but I think it's just going to be even more so just about track listing.
Because you're still very, very young. Who were your influences in this whole DJing production game? Who are the guys you looked up to growing up, I'd say out in Sweden?
That was, at my time, was Eric Prydz Eric Prydz and Swedish House Mafia, I think. So I started, Daft Punk got me into electronic music in general, but Swedish House Mafia and Eric Prydz really got me into house music.
Did you like Swedish House Mafia because they said Swedish in there? You're like, yeah, this is where or because you like their music? I'm joking about that.
I think but they were Swedish. Obviously, played a role because
right.
you had so many friends in common, and it just felt that this was something that could actually happen. Felt like a reality.
It's like we have certain artists from Chicago that we love even a little bit more because they're from Chicago. So I understand that.
Yeah, it's the same thing
for sure.
The hometown love. Do you follow politics here in the U.S. at all?
No.
You're lucky.
Either do we.
I stay out of it.
Either do we. But there's a guy who's campaigning right now. His name is Marco Rubio, and they asked him who do they have on his playlist when he goes to his big campaigns and stuff, and he named 2 people, Calvin Harris and Avicii. So you don't know the guy, but your songs are being played everywhere across the country for a man named Marco Rubio. Just so you know. I don't know who the hell he is either.
That's good support.
That is good support. So Chicago, what is Chicago, whenever you're like, oh, it's a time, we're doing a tour stop in Chicago, what's the first thing you think of when you're like, I'm coming to Chicago? Is there anything that's like, whether it's food or music, what is there anything?
Bring a jacket. I don't know.
Bring a jacket.
Honestly,
right.
it's
so
like
cold,
every time I get here, it's just so much colder than everywhere else.
Okay.
I wish
except the summers, which is like the opposite. So it's just
summers are very hot. Right.
But I wish when we answer that question, I wish one artist would go, Julie from Schaumburg.
Right.
Julie from Schaumburg.
Avicii's never been to He never been to Schaumburg. Come on, man. He never been to Schaumburg in his life.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule rolling through here, man. You're always loved here at B96. You've shown us love, and we appreciate it. Check out the new single, Broken Arrows. Give it up. Avicii hanging out with us today.